what if the stories we hear, about the really influential people, what if they aren't the full picture? Like, what if all that immense wealth, the technological leaps, what if it's tied to something deeper, maybe even a secret agenda?
That's a powerful thought to start with.
Well, today we're taking a look at someone whose journey, from game developer to global icon, is, well, according to some views, wrapped in some pretty surprising, even alarming claims.
Yeah.
We'll be diving deep into the games around a person often called eccentric, or the mask, exploring a narrative that really challenges how most people see his rise.
That's right. And our focus today is squarely on the very complex figure of Elon Musk.
Right.
We've gathered information presenting a story that suggests there's maybe more going on than just rockets and electric cars. This narrative weaves together things like nanotech implants, specific financial strategies, grand theories about where humanity's headed.
Wow.
And yeah, even links to figures like Bill Gates and ideas like the golden billion. So our mission today is really to unpack these narratives, help you get the key points from this intriguing body of information pretty quickly without feeling totally overwhelmed by it all.
Sounds good. And just before we jump in, a quick note for everyone listening.
Sure.
You're currently tuning into this deep dive on the Obscura Files YouTube channel. If you're finding this kind of exploration interesting, hidden knowledge, surprising facts, definitely hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss any of our future deep dives.
Absolutely.
All right, let's unpack this. The information we have on Elon Musk, it starts with his birth, South Africa, 1971.
Right.
It talks about a pretty troubled childhood, parents' divorce, a real fear of the future.
That sounds tough.
Yeah, and it apparently led him to kind of withdraw, find comfort in reading, especially science fiction.
Okay, the sci-fi angle is often mentioned.
But here's where it gets really interesting, according to these claims. He was supposedly shaped by the philosophy of Isaac Asimov, the chemist.
Asimov.
Yeah, and the claim is he still believes in it today. This idea of taking action to, prolong civilization and reduce the chances of a dark age.
Huh. And how does that connect later?
Well, we'll see how this idea, according to some, has potentially major implications for that golden billion theory later on.
Got it. So Asimov's philosophy as a foundation, what about his early ventures? Well, what's fascinating here is how quickly his path is shown to diverge. At just 10, he reportedly showed this early knack for computing.
10 years old?
Yeah. Sold the code for a video game he made called Blaster. Got about $500 for it.
Okay, $500 doesn't sound like much.
Right, but the information presents it as the start. That small sum supposedly snowballing into billions later.
Planting the seed.
Exactly. Then, moving to his time at the University of Pennsylvania in 1992, degrees in physics and economics.
Right.
But there are these claims, pretty controversial ones,
Yeah.
that he and a classmate converted 10 dorm rooms into secret nightclubs.
Secret nightclubs in dorms.
Yeah, and the narrative alleges they were used for unethical activities to make money.
Wow, okay.
And this part of the story is presented as a reason he was supposedly denied a CEO position later on.
So, early ethical questions being raised in this narrative.
Precisely. It casts a shadow from this perspective.
Okay, so what does this all mean then? If we follow this thread, he gets enough capital from these alleged university activities and co-founds Zip2 with his brother, an internet directory for newspapers.
Yeah, basically. And they landed big contracts like the New York Times.
Pretty quickly, too, right?
Within just 2 years, yeah. Became a significant player. And then Compaq bought it for $307 million.
And Musk's share from his 7% stake.
Around $22 million, according to the info.
Or
a substantial sum.
But just the beginning, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Turn of the century, he co-founds X.com, which, merges to become PayPal.
Ah, PayPal. Everyone knows PayPal, but the information describes his methods as, unlawful viral marketing.
Unlawful? What does that mean?
Like ads that would automatically resend themselves from a user's email. Highly aggressive.
Okay. That does sound controversial.
And it goes further. It claims he was actually dismissed from PayPal.
Dismissed? Why?
After it was supposedly discovered he was working with Bill Gates.
Bill Gates again.
To switch PayPal's system from Linux to Windows. Portrayed as sort of a betrayal.
Interesting. So internal conflict there.
But again, luck or something was apparently on his side. eBay buys PayPal for $1.5 billion.
Billion with a B.
And Musk, as the largest shareholder, his stake this time was supposedly $165 million.
Wow. So even with the controversies, he comes out way ahead.
That's the consistent theme in this narrative, yeah.
Yeah.
Always landing on his feet, often after pushing boundaries.
Right. Which brings us to SpaceX. This is where things really take off, literally.
Yeah, 2002. Fueled by sci-fi love, space exploration. That's the usual story.
It is. But the claims here suggest it wasn't just about science.
Huh.
It was allegedly aimed at getting quick fame and tapping into the huge profits of the space industry.
Profits in space back then.
Well, the narrative points to NASA earning $18 billion annually in 2001 alone. So, yeah, big money involved.
Okay, so the claim is money and fame were key drivers.
Two birds with one stone is how the information puts it. He reportedly pushed ambitious projects, like a mini Mars landing, planting stuff on Mars.
Things that sound great in headlines.
Exactly. A narrative that the claims suggest even NASA hesitated to push too hard.
Why would NASA hesitate?
Fear of, and this is a quote from the material, reopening the moon landing lie, suggesting internal caution about public skepticism.
That's quite a claim about NASA itself. So this push for space films, as the narrative calls them, how did he fund it if the government was skeptical?
Well, when his funding requests were apparently rejected, seen as just commercial propaganda, he supposedly tried to buy cheap rockets from Russia, also for these cinematic or promotional goals.
From Russia?
Yeah, but was denied, the claim state,
Yeah.
because of military secrecy.
So hitting roadblocks there.
Initially, yes, but then comes what the narrative calls a turning point.
Okay.
Musk allegedly uncovers this secret, that building a NASA rocket cost only 3% of its selling price.
Only 3%, meaning NASA profits 97% per rocket.
That's the claim presented. And it's backed in the information by a quote attributed to a former Trump advisor saying NASA steals American people's money.
Wow, okay. That's explosive.
Very. And based on this alleged discovery, Musk then advertised SpaceX rockets at 97% less cost.
A direct price war, essentially.
Seems like it. And this move, the claims continue, led NASA to support SpaceX with $300 million.
But not as collaboration.
The narrative frames it as a way to silence him or maybe bring him into the fold.
And Musk's explanation for the lower cost.
Producing 85% in-house using modern software engineering, implying they were just better, more efficient than NASA. The claims then suggest Musk was smart enough to balance with the deep state.
Balance with the deep state. What does that mean here?
Gaining access to the space film industry, getting engineers, basically being allowed to play the game.
So the inventor image is just for show.
That's the argument presented, that he's really a man of money operating within a hierarchical organization that gave him the green light.
Orchestrated success, not just innovation. That's a heavy implication.
It is.
So, okay, if we follow that, what about SpaceX's actual success rate? All these alleged advantages.
Right. Well, here's where the narrative points out a stark contradiction.
Which is?
It claims that despite NASA's support, over 90% of SpaceX's launches, more than 100 of them, actually failed.
Over 90% failed. That seems incredibly high for a functioning space company.
It does. And the information suggests this forced Musk to falsely declare bankruptcy in 2008.
Falsely? Why?
As a way to evade investors, according to these claims.
Okay, that's quite a narrative twist. But how does that square with SpaceX's current image?
Well, the narrative then introduces another layer, mentioning alleged WikiLeaks files.
WikiLeaks, what do they supposedly show?
That his revenues from what's called trading illusion and fantasy reached about $12 billion.
Trading illusion and fantasy. Meaning?
Suggesting he played a key role in, quote, entering the world into the fifth dimension and dreams. Getting people to genuinely believe they'll live on Mars soon.
So selling the dream itself was the profitable part.
That's the implication.
Oh.
A money-making method that also, according to this view, solidifies the power of the shadow government, or deep state.
And positions Musk at the top.
Peak of the hierarchical pyramid is the phrase used. It connects space dreams directly to alleged power structures.
Right. That's a lot to take in about SpaceX.
It definitely is.
So let's shift gears then. Tesla, entering the car industry.
Yeah, which, as the information points out, is generally seen as a tough gig, a quick way to lose money.
Dominated by established players, an elite, as the narrative puts it.
Exactly. Chrysler in 1925 was supposedly the last big independent success. Yet Musk, described as not stupid, jumps in.
Which raises the question, why, if it's so risky?
Well, the claim suggests several reasons for his entry in 2004.
Okay.
Primarily, to pass massive SpaceX profits into another venture.
Launder isn't the word used, but passing profits.
Okay. And to invest in a field that would be supported by the elite that allegedly backs him.
And there's a Nikola Tesla connection mentioned.
Yeah, linking his involvement to Nikola Tesla's research in free energy, suggesting maybe a hidden technological goal beyond just electric cars.
Interesting. How did Tesla perform initially, according to these claims?
Not great, apparently. The first Roadster, $100,000 price tag, reportedly failed despite a supposed five-fold profit margin.
5 times profit margin. Wow.
That's the claim. Even the Model S, $75,000, with what's called mind-manipulating advertising as the car of the future,
Yeah.
also struggled initially. The suggestion is that the space movie approach needed more brainwashing time for cars.
Brainwashing time. They don't mince words.
Not at all.
So even with this alleged hierarchical organization support, Tesla was losing money.
Significant losses, reportedly,
Right.
which led to the IPO
The initial public offering.
at just $17 per share. Seemed modest. But the claim state. It was accompanied by this big promotional campaign where Musk claimed he'd send humans to space soon.
Using the SpaceX hype to boost Tesla?
Precisely. And according to this narrative, it worked spectacularly, dramatically raised the share prices of all his companies.
And earned him how much?
$230 million. In days.
Again, leveraging perception for massive financial gain, according to this story.
That's the pattern presented.
And it wasn't just cars. He expanded further, right?
Hyperloop in 2013, that high-speed transport idea.
Right, the pods and tubes.
And then OpenAI in 2015, artificial intelligence.
Which he said was non-profit or beneficial AI.
Initially, yes. But the information we're looking at links OpenAI directly to future nanotech chips.
Nanotech chips. Okay, that sounds like it leads us somewhere specific.
It does. It leads us to perhaps the most controversial part of this whole narrative. Neuralink.
Founded in 2016. Neurotechnology.
Yeah. Aiming to link the human brain directly with artificial intelligence via implantable devices.
Implantable devices. That's the key phrase that sets off alarm bells for many.
Understandably. The stated goal, according to the info, is to develop the human brain, improve memory, allow direct mind-to-computer communication.
Merging humans and machines, essentially.
That's the idea presented. And as you can guess, the announcement sparked huge public backlash.
I bet. How is that backlash described?
Claims that Musk was planning a revolution in human nature, a post-human world. Accusations that he'd crossed all ethical barriers. Planning a world controlled by ruling form rules and mind control. Strong words.
Very strong. And the Bill Gates connection comes up again here.
Explicitly. Microsoft and Gates, described as his biggest friend, reportedly assisted in Neuralink's development.
And Gates' alleged motive.
Seeing it as a step towards making the world one village, which, in this context, sounds less like unity and more like
centralized control.
That's the interpretation this narrative pushes.
Wow. Okay, so faced with this huge backlash, how did Musk supposedly respond?
He reportedly conducted experiments on pigs. Publicly.
Right, I remember seeing that.
Stating, according to the claims, if it didn't harm the pig, it won't harm you.
Which some saw as problematic.
Yes, seen by critics in this narrative as equating human and pig genetics, undermining trust.
And the chip itself? What are the details provided?
Described as slightly larger than a coin, containing 10 24 electrodes.
Could be implanted where?
In the brain, designed to control neural impulses. And the claim is, consequently, this allows for controlling humans remotely.
Remote control of humans. That's the core fear actualized in this narrative.
Absolutely.
Did the authorities approve this? FDA?
The narrative claims the FDA declared it safe after the pig trials.
Okay. And how was it promoted to the public then?
By highlighting potential benefits. Curing diseases, helping paralyzed people, real-time health monitoring for heart attacks or strokes.
Things that sound genuinely positive.
Of course. But the narrative presents these as simply brainwashing with scientific good and illusion, a way to mask the alleged true purpose.
What other capabilities are claimed for the chip?
The list is extensive. Telepathy, brain control over devices, memory storage, treating psychological and neurological diseases.
A cure-all almost?
And Musk also reportedly suggested that fusion with machines is the best weapon to face AI control in the future.
So positioning it as a defense against rogue AR.
Yeah, but the claims state these assurances didn't really work to calm public fears.
I can imagine. So connecting all these threads, the pandemic, Gates, Musk, the chip, how does the narrative tie it all together?
It suggests that post-COVID, the narrative shifted.
How so?
The vaccine, linked in this story to Gates, and the chip, linked to Musk, were presented as the only way to beat the virus.
The chip as a solution to COVID? That seems like a leap.
It's a claim made in this narrative, and the chip's location supposedly shifted from the head to the arm.
In collaboration with Gates.
Yeah, referred to as CD bill in some parts of the material we reviewed. And the claim is it's been implanted in over 10 million people globally already.
10 million, with specific regions mentioned.
The UAE is named as a first executor of orders and media broadcaster for Western plans.
Implying a coordinated global rollout strategy. And 5G fits into this how?
The claim is that 5G networks and signals interfere with the brain's neural impulses, completing this alleged project between Gates and Musk,
Who are described as.
executive agents of the hierarchical organization.
And this leads to the new trinity.
Yes, 5G, the chip, and something called the blue ray, which isn't fully defined but hints at energy or frequency control.
Okay, and this whole complex web Neuralink, Gates, 5G, the chip, it's all framed within which larger theory?
The golden billion theory.
Right, the idea that the global population should be limited to 1 billion.
Exactly. And the narrative explicitly links this back to Asimov's philosophy that Musk supposedly follows preserving civilization by reducing population.
And also ties into Gates's focus on biological sciences.
Yes. Suggesting their work, while seemingly different, allegedly serves the same ultimate goal within this controversial theory.
Wow. This deep dive into the information around Elon Musk, it really does paint a picture that's, well, vastly different and, frankly, more unsettling for some than the mainstream story.
It certainly does. We've gone through claims about his rise, alleged financial strategies with SpaceX and Tesla. There were really controversial plans around AI and brain implants, all tied in this narrative to a much bigger, more hidden agenda like the golden billion. It's quite a journey through these alternative perspectives.
It really is. So after hearing all of this, the question for you listening is, what stands out?
Yeah, what resonates?
How do these interwoven claims, money, tech, power, control, how do they sit with your own understanding of the world?
Does it make you look differently at the stories we're usually told?
Does it maybe provoke you to look a bit closer at narratives about innovation and global influence? We really just leave the judgment up to you. This has been The Deep Dive. And if you found this exploration as fascinating or maybe as disturbing as we did, remember to subscribe to the Obscura Files YouTube channel. We do more deep dives into these kinds of surprising, thought-provoking subjects.
Definitely check it out.
We'll see you next time.